Alright, here's my main acoustic guitar. It's a 2001 Martin JC15E. So E for electric. It has the old Fishman Classic 4 in there. And as far as piezo pickup systems go, it's a great pickup. Not as good as a microphone, but what is. I'll go through, let me say why I got it. Actually, my dad got this for me. What was I? I think I was 9. Well, was I 17 at the time? Yeah, I think I was 17. I was performing a lot, and I didn't have a good acoustic guitar, and I was mainly doing acoustic gigs back then. And so we searched around for maybe a day, maybe 3 or 4 different music shops. And this was in the price range, and yeah, maybe at the time I would have rather had a D18 Golden Era or a HD28, but I'm glad I got this one. It was so well balanced, and it seems like it's more well balanced now. I don't have any notes that pop out more than the others. It's just very evenly spaced. The volume is good. It's definitely not the loudest guitar I have, or maybe the quietest steel string acoustic at this point. I sold all my other cheap guitars, but that's great. If I'm singing and playing at the same time, I don't have to worry about how hard I hit it as much. Oh, and I'm just using an iPod to record this. I wanted to get a better picture quality. My other camera has great sound quality, but the picture quality is lacking. It's always a little blurry. So this way you can see the wear on it. It originally came with a satin finish, and it has shined up over the years. I used to take steel wool to it to get rid of that when I was in my teens, but I stopped doing that. And I used to take to the back of the neck too, but it wears your finish off faster, so I quit doing that. Some people like to finish off. That's something I'm indifferent about. The finish is there to protect the guitar, so I figured it should stay on there as long as possible. But it's worn off completely from here to here. But I guess the oils from your hand will seal the wood, so it should be just fine. Damage to the headstock. Just chips here and there. Let's take a look at it. I've worn the rosette off. And that's mainly from my fingers actually hitting it, and not the pick so much. Probably the pick as well. So a lot of wear. I had 2 cracks repaired in the side. As far as another issue I had with it is the nut for the truss rod. It was very stiff. And I only had a couple of Martin certified repair guys in the area to work on it, and there was a great guy in a place called Hinesville, Arkansas, but he retired. There was another guy in another town I won't mention because I was very dissatisfied with the service, and the guitar had issues that he did not want to fix, and that's one of the reasons I got into doing setups on my own and minor repairs. So it had a high nut, and the intonation was off because of it when I first got it, and I didn't know any better. I just thought there was something inherently wrong with the guitar that couldn't be fixed. So I had a high nut. I couldn't get the guy in the other town I'm talking about to even do that, to even file the nut down. I couldn't get him to fix the issue with the nut and the truss rod. I fixed that myself. So it has the older style truss rod, or adjustable truss rod. And so just a one-way truss rod. So I took the nut off completely, lubricated it, put it back on, and now it works great. And I was at the point of almost stripping it out, and at that point. So yeah, and then I learned how to take the nut down myself, and Follow the saddle. Now the intonation is great. He's really bad on the third fret when I was playing the G chord. It used to be really sharp. Now it's good. I mean, good for a guitar anyway. But it used to be always a little bit high, and I'd try to tune my sixth string a little bit lower to compensate for it. But now it's about as good as an acoustic guitar is going to get. The other things, the bridge is held up great. It's still glued on perfectly. I've never had to repair that. Oh, this. So I did have an issue with the output for the pickup, or the connection. So and it was a recurring thing. These come with a really small washer, and you can only tighten it so much. And after a while, I couldn't tighten it anymore, and it was always coming loose and damaging the soldering. So I found the biggest washer I could find around my house and stuck it in there. And now it's nice and tight, and I hardly have any issues with it anymore. So if you have any of these N-pin jack, or a guitar with an N-pin jack, that might be a good idea to do it, because I don't like that design. I'd rather have the output somewhere else, so it doesn't have constant pressure on it. These fail quite often, but after putting that washer on there, I haven't had any issues with it. Modifications. So I played this guitar a lot, and I've had it since I was 17. I'm 35 now. I had worn the frets out on, or the original frets were completely worn, and I had a hump in where the fretboard meets the body as well, so that was another issue with this guitar. It definitely wasn't a perfect guitar. Everything's sorted on it now. So the combination of having my frets worn out and then having the hump on whenever the fretboard met the body, this thing, I had to have the action really high, and that probably contributed to the intonation issues I had with it earlier on. And now the action is great. It's about just where I like it for an acoustic guitar. I can still dig in, get some volume, and I don't measure it from the 12th fret with a tool. I just go by sound. So I still want to get a nice clear note all over the fretboard, but still have it easy to play with bar chords. So more at the frets, I have jumbo frets. I found a guy in Branson, Missouri, that was really good with fretworks. He wasn't Martin certified, so now I avoided the warranty, which I was trying not to do all these years. But he did a great job, and so I told him to put the biggest frets he could on it because I like jumbos. It's just easier for me to play. I've heard the opposite from other guitar players, but I think what's happening is they're pressing harder than they need to, and it's causing their fingers to be more sore. But once you get used to it, it's much easier to play with a jumbo fret, and I wish more companies would use them. And it'd be nice if they used stainless steel too, but that's another topic. And I have leveled these. I got them replaced maybe 10 years ago, and I've leveled them twice. So it's a big fret, but it's a softer material. If I had known more, I would have had stainless steel frets put on it. So I'll wear these jumbos out eventually, and they still have a decent height. Saddle, I've experimented a lot over the years. Bone, I find bone does not work well with a pickup. I don't know if it's just because the density isn't consistent. So the string-to-string balance when it was plugged in was off whenever I used bone, so I went back to the original saddle. Actually, I still have the original saddle for this guitar. Right now I have a little taller one in. We're just kind of coming out of winter, and with the drier air, the top comes down, so I want a taller saddle. But it still has great saddle height. It might be hard to see. So I've never had to do a neck reset on this, but having the jumbo frets probably helps with that too, because it brings everything up. It brings your strings up higher. Bridge pins. I got these aftermarket ones. I got them from, I think, Martin.com, so it's like a higher quality plastic material. Someone might be offended at me calling it plastic. It's probably a tusk or something like that. But, same thing with the saddle. So I went back to a composite material for the saddles after using bone for a very short period of time. I don't mind it on a plain acoustic guitar, but over the years I've actually grown to prefer a high quality plastic for a saddle over bone. And let's see. I don't know if there are any other points. Oh yeah, the back is interesting on this guitar. So it's almost a quilted mahogany, and these were not supposed to come with quilted mahogany. It's not the most highly figured back, and this was Martin's cheaper range. I think at the time it was their cheapest all solid wood guitar. So just kind of a pleasant surprise. Of course, you never see it. Kind of wish they would have put that wood on the top, but it sounds great. And I have a lot of videos of me actually playing this guitar with a higher quality, or a camera that has higher quality sound. Lower quality video. I'll probably do a video just playing the guitar. Oh yeah, the tuners have held up great. I'm trying to think of all the points to go through. I tried writing notes down before with reviews, and I think it causes me more problems than just improvising. So they've held up great over the years. I have worn, I don't know if you can see it, but from using string winders, I've actually worn into the wood a little bit. So I have switched to a higher quality string winder because of that. But no big deal, and this will probably be the last guitar I sell if I get into a bind. So I'm not worried about little things like that. Well, I think that's all the points I can remember right now. But just that. Feel free to ask me any questions about it if you're interested. And these weren't very common guitar. The 15 series it was very common overall, and you see, I think they still make it, but they don't make the jumbo version. I think they only made this for a couple of years, so it doesn't make it worth anymore. But it's nice to have a rare guitar. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you found it interesting.